Welcome to my channel Bookish English. I am Ariel, and today I want to talk about a problem that quietly destroys the confidence of many English learners. You read English, you understand the page, you feel happy for a moment, but after a few hours the words disappear. Then, when you try to speak, your mind becomes empty. You know you learned something, but you cannot bring it back. And this is where many learners blame themselves. They say, "My memory is weak. My brain is slow. English is not for me." But listen carefully. The problem is not your memory. The problem is the way you read, the way you store information, and the way you try to use English after reading. In this video, I will teach you how your brain remembers English, why you forget what you read, and how to make words, sentences, and ideas stay longer in your mind. Stay until the end, because the final lesson will give you the complete system that can change the way you read English forever. Subscribe to Bookish English, and let's begin. Lesson 1. Why reading disappears. Have you ever read an English page and understood it clearly? Then, after a few hours, when you tried to remember it, your mind became almost empty. Maybe you remembered the topic. Maybe you remembered one or two words. But the real idea, the useful sentences, the beautiful expressions, the new vocabulary, everything felt far away. And then you blamed yourself. You said, "My memory is weak. I cannot remember English. I read so much, but nothing stays in my brain." But today, I want you to listen carefully because this one truth can change the way you study English forever. Your memory is not weak. Your reading method is weak. Your brain is not broken. Your system is broken. And once you understand this, you will stop feeling guilty and start learning in a smarter way. Most English learners read passively. They move their eyes over the words. They underline sentences. They translate difficult vocabulary. Sometimes they even copy long notes into a notebook. While doing all this, they feel busy. They feel serious. They feel like they are learning. But the brain is very honest. It does not remember something just because your eyes saw it. It does not remember something just because your hand underlined it. It does not remember something just because you copied it. Your brain remembers what you notice, what you understand deeply, what you connect with your life, what you try to bring back, and what you use. This is why many learners can read a paragraph 5 times and still forget it. They are touching English from the outside, but they are not bringing English inside their mind. There is a big difference between understanding something while reading and remembering it later. When the book is open, the words are helping you. The sentence is in front of you. The meaning is visible. So your brain says, "Yes, I know this." But when you close the book and try to explain the same idea in your own words, suddenly everything becomes difficult. This is because you are not really testing your memory. You are only feeling familiar with the page. This is called recognition memory. Recognition means you know something when you see it again. But real learning needs recall memory. Recall means you can bring the idea back without looking. You can close the book and still say, "This paragraph was about memory. It explained that reading is not enough. I must explain, write, use, and review." That is real memory. That is the kind of memory you need when you speak English. Because in real conversation, there is no page in front of you. You must pull words and ideas from your brain. This is where many learners fall into the illusion of learning. The illusion of learning means you feel like you know something, but you cannot use it when you need it. Rereading creates this illusion. Highlighting creates this illusion. Copying notes can also create this illusion. These things are not completely bad, but if you only do them, they can trick you. You look at a word again and again, and because it looks familiar, you think, I know this word. But when you try to speak, the word does not come out. Why? Because familiarity is not fluency. Seeing is not remembering. Reading is not speaking. If you want English to become part of your voice, you must train your brain to recall it, not just recognize it. Another reason you forget is cognitive load. This means your working memory has too much pressure. Imagine you are reading an English paragraph. You are trying to understand the grammar. You are translating unknown words. You are thinking about pronunciation. You are worrying that your English is weak. You are also trying to finish the page quickly. Your brain becomes overloaded. When the brain has too much pressure, it cannot store everything deeply. It only holds the information for a short time, then it lets it go. This is why reading very difficult English can make you tired and forgetful. It is not because you are lazy. It is because your brain needs a better balance. You need English that challenges you, but does not crush you. You need to read slowly enough to understand, but actively enough to remember. There is also something called encoding failure. Encoding means turning information into memory. When encoding is strong, the idea stays longer. When encoding is weak, the idea disappears quickly. Many learners experience encoding failure because they read without attention, without emotion, without examples, and without use. A word enters the eyes, but it does not enter the memory. A sentence enters the ears, but it does not enter the life. For example, you read the word improve, you translate it, then you move on. That is weak encoding. But if you say, I want to improve my English speaking every day, now the word has meaning. If you say, this lesson will help me improve my memory, now the word has use. If you write, I improved today because I explained one paragraph in English, now the word becomes yours. This is how English moves from the page into your brain. Now let's talk about the forgetting curve in a simple way. Your brain forgets unused information very quickly. This is natural. Your brain receives too many things every day. Messages, sounds, faces, videos, words, problems, worries, and thoughts. If your brain tried to keep everything, you would feel mentally exhausted. So your brain asks one silent question: is this important? If you read something once and never return to it, your brain thinks, maybe this is not important. Then the memory becomes weaker. But if you read it, pause, explain it, write one sentence, use it in your own example, and review it later, your brain receives a clear message: this matters. And when your brain feels something matters, it protects it more strongly. So from today, do not measure your learning by how many pages you finished. Measure it by how much you can bring back. After reading one paragraph, close the book and ask yourself, what did I just read? Then say the answer in simple English. Do not worry about perfect grammar. Do not worry about big vocabulary. Just speak. Say, "This paragraph says that I forget because I only read passively." Then, write one sentence in your notebook, not 10 copied lines. One honest sentence from your own brain. This small exercise may look simple, but it trains recall memory. It tells your brain, "I need this information again." And when you do this every day, your English reading becomes deeper, your vocabulary becomes stronger, and your speaking becomes more natural. I remember this lesson with your full heart. Reading gives you contact with English, but recall gives you control over English. If you only read, you may forget. But if you read, pause, explain, write, use, and review, the English does not disappear so easily. It starts living inside you. So the next time you forget what you read, do not insult your brain. Do not call yourself weak. Just smile and say, "Now I know the problem. I was reading passively. From today, I will read actively." This is the first step. This is where your memory begins to change. Lesson 2. Attention builds memory. Now that you understand why reading disappears, let's go one step deeper. Before your brain can remember anything, it must first notice it. This sounds simple, but this is where many English learners lose the battle. They open a book, they start reading. Their eyes move across the words, but their mind is not fully there. One part of the mind is reading the sentence. Another part is thinking about a phone notification. Another part is worrying about grammar. Another part is asking, "Why is my English still weak?" And after 10 minutes, they look at the page and feel tired. They have seen the words, but they have not really met the words. That is why this lesson is so important. You cannot remember what you never truly noticed. Your attention is the door of memory. If the door is closed, the information cannot enter deeply. You may see the word, you may hear the sentence, you may even understand it for a few seconds, but if your attention is weak, the brain does not treat that information as important. This is called selective attention. Your brain receives many signals every second: sounds, colors, thoughts, feelings, movements, messages, worries, and words are all fighting for space. Your brain cannot focus on everything, so it selects. It chooses what deserves attention. If you give real attention to an English sentence, your brain says, "This matters." But if you read while distracted, your brain says, "This is background noise." And background noise does not become strong memory. Think about this in a very simple way. Imagine someone tells you a phone number while you are thinking about something else. You hear the number, but after a few seconds, it disappears. Why? Because it only touched your sensory memory. Sensory memory is the first tiny moment when information enters through your eyes or ears. It is very short. If you do not give attention, the information quickly fades. But if you focus, repeat, and think about it, the information can move into working memory. Working memory is like a small mental desk. It is the place where you hold information for a short time and work with it. When you read an English sentence and think, "What does this mean?" you are using working memory. When you simplify the sentence in your own words, you are using working memory. When you connect the sentence to your life, your brain starts encoding it. Encoding means turning information into memory. But here is the problem. Working memory is small. It cannot hold too much at once. So if you read a difficult English paragraph while also translating every word, checking your phone, worrying about pronunciation, and thinking about your mistakes, your working memory becomes overloaded. This is why you feel tired. This is why you read the same line again and again. This is why you say, I read, but I do not remember. Your mind was not lazy. Your mind was crowded. A crowded mind cannot build clear memory. That is why attention control is so important. Attention control means you gently bring your focus back to the page again and again. You do not need perfect focus. You need honest focus. When your mind goes away, you bring it back. When you notice distraction, you return to the sentence. That return is training. Mind wandering is normal. Please do not think you are a bad learner because your mind moves away. Every learner experiences this. You may read one paragraph and suddenly you remember a problem from yesterday. You may hear one English sentence and suddenly you start thinking in your native language. You may open a book and suddenly you feel sleepy. This does not mean you cannot learn. It means you need a method that wakes up your attention. And one of the simplest methods is the 3-second pause method. Here is how it works. Read one important sentence, then stop for 3 seconds. Do not rush to the next sentence. Do not attack the whole page. Just pause and ask yourself, what did this sentence really mean? Then say the meaning in easier English. For example, if you read, consistent practice builds long-term confidence, pause and say, this means if I practice English every day, I slowly become more confident. Now the sentence is not just on the page, it is inside your thinking. You have taken the sentence, simplified it, and connected it to your life. This small pause changes everything. It changes reading from passive input into active learning. This is also where metacognition becomes powerful. Metacognition means knowing what is happening inside your own learning. It means you are not just reading, you are watching your brain while you read. You ask yourself, am I really understanding this? Did I just read the words? Or did I understand the idea? Can I explain this without looking? Which word from this sentence can I use in my own speaking? These questions make you a smart learner. Many learners read for 30 minutes and never check their understanding. Then they feel shocked when they forget. But a strong learner checks while reading. A strong learner notices confusion early. A strong learner does not wait until the end of the chapter to discover that nothing stayed in the brain. Let's make this practical for your English. When you read a sentence, do not only ask, what is the translation? Ask, what is the message? Translation can help you understand, but meaning helps you remember. If you read, reading every day improves your vocabulary naturally. Do not stop at translation. Say, this means I can learn new words by reading daily. Then make it personal. I will improve my vocabulary if I read one page every morning. Now your attention is deeper. Your brain has touched the sentence 3 times. First, through the original English. Second, through your simple explanation. Third, through your personal example. That is how attention becomes memory. So today, I want you to try a small exercise. Take one paragraph from any English book, story, article, or video transcript. Read only 3 or 4 sentences. Then stop. Ask yourself, what did I just read? Say the answer in simple English. Then choose one useful word and make your own sentence with it. After that, close your eyes for a moment and try to remember the main idea. If you cannot remember, do not feel bad. Open the text, look again, and repeat. This is not failure. This is training. Every time you bring your attention back, your memory becomes stronger. Remember this lesson clearly. Fast reading may finish the page, but focused reading keeps the page inside your mind. You do not need to read more and forget more. You need to notice more, think more, and keep more. From today, do not read English like a tired machine. Read like a person who is awake. Read like a learner who wants to own the sentence. Give the sentence your attention. Pause for 3 seconds. Explain it simply. Connect it with your life. When your attention becomes stronger, your memory becomes stronger too. And when your memory becomes stronger, English slowly stops feeling like something outside you. It starts becoming something inside you. Lesson 3. Meaning beats memorizing. Now, you understand that attention builds memory. But attention alone is not enough. You can focus on a word, repeat it 10 times, write it in your notebook, and still forget it tomorrow if you do not give that word real meaning. This is where many English learners make a painful mistake. They try to memorize English like a list. They collect words. They collect meanings. They collect grammar rules. They write long notes. They make beautiful pages. But when they try to speak, those words do not come out. Why? Because the words were stored like dry items in a box. They were not connected to real life, real feeling, real examples, and real use. A word alone is weak. A word with meaning becomes strong. Your brain does not love empty words. Your brain loves meaning. This is called semantic encoding. Semantic means meaning. Encoding means turning information into memory. So semantic encoding means your brain remembers something by understanding what it means, how it connects, and why it matters. For example, if you write, discipline means control, maybe you understand the word for a moment, but it is still weak. Now, look at this sentence. Discipline means practicing English even when I do not feel motivated. Suddenly, the word has life. It has a situation. It has a feeling. It has your struggle inside it. Now, your brain can hold it better because it is not just a dictionary meaning. It is your meaning. There are 2 ways to process information. One is shallow processing. The other is deep processing. Shallow processing means you only look at the surface. You notice spelling. You notice sound. You translate quickly. You underline the sentence. You say, okay, I know this. But you do not ask what the idea really means. Deep processing is different. Deep processing means you ask questions. You connect the idea with your life. You create your own example. You explain it in simple English. You compare it with something you already know. This is why 2 learners can read the same paragraph, but one remembers it and the other forgets it. The first learner only saw the words. The second learner built meaning. Let me give you a very clear example. Imagine you read this sentence. Small daily actions create long-term progress. If you only translate it and move on, you may forget it. But if you stop and think, this means I do not need to study English for 5 hours. I need to practice a little every day. Now, the sentence becomes personal. If you say, my small daily action is reading one paragraph and explaining it in English, now, the sentence becomes useful. If you remember a time when you started something small and improved slowly, now, the sentence connects with your old memories. This is deep processing. This is how a sentence moves from the page into your mind. This is also connected to schema theory. A schema is like a mental folder inside your brain. You already have many folders. You have a folder for school, a folder for family, a folder for work, a folder for fear, a folder for success, a folder for English learning. When you read something new, your brain asks, where should I put this? If the new idea connects with an old folder, your brain stores it better. But if the idea stays alone, it becomes easy to lose. So whenever you read English, ask yourself, what does this remind me of? Maybe the sentence reminds you of your school days. Maybe it reminds you of your speaking fear. Maybe it reminds you of one mistake you made in English. That connection makes the memory stronger. This is why you should not just read the text. You should talk to the text. When you read, do not behave like a silent visitor. Behave like a thinker. Ask the page questions. Ask, what is the writer saying? Ask, why is this important? Ask, do I agree with this? Ask, where can I use this idea in my life? Ask, can I say this idea in my own English? When you do this, reading becomes a conversation. The page gives you an idea. You answer the idea. The page gives you a sentence. You create your own sentence. The page gives you a word. You connect it with your life. This is not normal reading. This is active reading. This is the kind of reading that creates memory. One of the best ways to test your understanding is this. Explain it like a child. If you read something difficult, do not hide behind difficult words. Close the book and explain it in the simplest English possible. Suppose you read this idea. Spaced repetition strengthens long-term retention by reviewing information at increasing intervals. That sounds academic. Now explain it like a child. If I learn something today, I should not forget it for 1 month. I should look at it again tomorrow, then after a few days, then after 1 week. Every time I meet it again, my brain remembers it better. Now you truly understand it. When you can explain a difficult idea simply, the idea becomes yours. This method is powerful for English learners because it does 2 things at the same time. First, it helps your memory. Second, it trains your speaking. Many learners wait until their English becomes perfect before they explain ideas. But that is the wrong order. You explain ideas to make your English stronger. You do not need perfect grammar to start. You need simple sentences. You need courage. You need practice. Say, this paragraph says. Say the main idea is say. The writer wants me to understand that these small speaking frames will help you turn reading into speaking. Another powerful habit is turning every paragraph into one sentence. Do not finish a paragraph and run to the next one. Stop and catch one idea. Ask yourself, what is the main point here? Then say one simple sentence. For example, after reading a paragraph about memory, you can say, "This paragraph says that I remember better when I explain the idea in my own words." After reading a paragraph about vocabulary, you can say, "This paragraph says that new words become stronger when I use them in my own life." This habit looks small, but it is a serious reading skill. It builds summarizing power. It builds memory. It builds speaking confidence. It teaches your brain to find the heart of the paragraph. You also need the right level of English. This is called comprehensible input. It means the English should be understandable, but still a little challenging. If the text is too easy, your brain may not grow much. If the text is too difficult, your brain becomes overloaded and you lose confidence. The best English text is like a good exercise. It stretches you, but it does not break you. You should understand most of it, but still meet some new words and new sentence patterns. That is the sweet spot. Choose stories, articles, books, and lessons that make you think, but do not make you feel hopeless. Elaboration is another important memory tool. Elaboration means adding more meaning around an idea. When you learn a new word, do not only write the definition. Add an example. Add a personal sentence. Add an opposite word. Add a situation. Add a feeling. For example, if the word is nervous, do not only write worried. Write, "I feel nervous when I speak English in front of others." Then write, "I can reduce nervousness by practicing with myself first." Now the word is connected with your real life. It has emotion. It has use. It has memory. The self-explanation effect is also very useful here. It simply means you learn better when you explain things to yourself. Do not wait for a teacher every time. Become your own teacher for a few minutes. After reading, say, "Let me explain this to myself." Then speak slowly. Explain the idea like you are helping a friend. You may make mistakes. That is fine. Your mistakes show where your understanding is weak. When you notice a gap, you go back, read again, and fix it. This is how strong learners study. They do not just consume information. They digest it. So today, I want you to practice this simple routine. Take one short English paragraph, read it with attention, then close the book. Say the main idea is now, and complete the sentence. Then choose one useful word from that paragraph and make your own sentence with it. After that, ask one question about the paragraph. For example, how can I use this idea in my English practice? Finally, explain the paragraph in simple English, as if you were teaching a child. Do this with one paragraph today, not 10 pages, just one paragraph. But do it deeply. Remember this lesson clearly. If you cannot explain it simply, do not say, "I know it." Say, "I have only seen it." Seeing English is not enough. Translating English is not enough. Highlighting English is not enough. You must give English meaning. You must connect it with your life. You must explain it in your own words. You must turn every paragraph into one clear idea. When you do this, English stops being a collection of strange words. It becomes a living language inside your mind. And once meaning becomes strong, memory becomes strong too. Lesson 4. Pictures create memory. Now you understand that meaning beats memorizing. But there is one more secret that can make your memory even stronger. Your brain does not only remember through words, it also remembers through pictures. When you read English, you may think you are only reading letters on a page, but inside your brain, something deeper is happening. Your brain is trying to turn those words into images, scenes, feelings, and stories. If the words stay dry, they disappear quickly. But if the words become pictures in your mind, they become easier to remember. This is why you can forget a grammar rule in one day, but remember a movie scene for years. The movie gave your brain pictures, emotions, movement, voices, and meaning. A dry rule gives your brain almost nothing to hold. This is where dual coding becomes powerful. Dual coding means your brain learns better when it receives information in two forms, words and images. If you only read the word, your brain uses the language system. But if you read the word and also create a picture in your mind, your brain uses the language system and the visual system together. That means the memory has two paths. If one path becomes weak, the other path can help you bring the idea back. This is why pictures, examples, stories, and mental scenes are so powerful for English learners. They do not only make learning fun, they make memory stronger. Think about a simple word like elephant. When I say elephant, you probably do not see the spelling first. You do not first see ELEPHANT floating in the air. You see a large animal. You may see big ears, a long trunk, heavy feet, and slow movement. That is mental imagery. Mental imagery means creating pictures inside your mind. Your brain naturally does this, but many learners do not use it when they read English. They read a word, translate it quickly, and move on. The word stays flat. The word has no color, no movement, no feeling, no story. And because of that, the word is easy to forget. From today, when you read a new English word, do not only ask, "What does it mean?" Ask better questions. Ask, "What does it look like?" Ask, "Where can I see this in real life?" Ask, "What picture comes into my mind?" Ask, "What feeling is connected to this word?" Ask, "Can I make a small story with this word?" These questions wake up your visual spatial memory. Visual spatial memory helps you remember images, places, positions, and scenes. This is why you may forget someone's name, but remember where they were sitting. You may forget a sentence, but remember the page where you saw it. You may forget a rule, but remember the example your teacher gave. Your brain loves locations, pictures, and scenes.
Love both.
Let's practice this with the word journey. If you only write journey means a trip, the word may not stay strong. But now imagine a long road. You are walking on that road with an English book in your hand. At the beginning of the road, you are nervous. You only know a few words, but step by step you keep walking. You read, you listen, you speak, you make mistakes, and you continue. Far away, you see your future self speaking English with confidence. Now the word journey is not just a word, it is your English life. It has a road, it has movement, It has emotion. It has hope. That is why you will remember it better. Now take the word confidence. Do not only translate it, see it. Imagine yourself standing calmly in front of people. Your hands are relaxed. Your voice is clear. You are speaking English slowly, but you are not running away. Maybe your English is not perfect, but your face is peaceful. You are saying, I can speak. I can improve. I can try again. Now confidence becomes a picture. It becomes a feeling. It becomes a future version of you. This is powerful because emotional salience helps memory. Emotional salience means your brain gives more importance to things that feel meaningful, exciting, painful, hopeful, or personal. When a word touches your emotion, your brain pays more attention to it. Now take the word struggle. Many learners know this word because they live this word. Imagine a learner climbing a hill while carrying heavy books. The road is difficult. The learner is tired. Sometimes the learner slips. Sometimes the learner wants to stop, but the learner keeps moving. This picture explains struggle better than a dictionary. It shows difficulty. It shows effort. It shows pain. But it also shows progress. Now when you hear the sentence,
Every struggle can make you stronger, you do not only understand it, you feel it.
now take the word improve. Imagine a small plant growing into a strong tree. At first, it is tiny. It needs water. It needs sunlight. It needs time. It does not become a tree in one day, but every day it grows a little. This is exactly how English improves. You do not wake up fluent tomorrow. You grow through small daily practice. When you connect the word improve with a growing plant, the word becomes visual. And when the word becomes visual, it becomes easier to remember and easier to use. This is also why stories are so powerful. A list is easy to forget because the words stand alone. A story is easier to remember because everything is connected. This is called narrative memory. Narrative memory means your brain remembers through story structure. Stories have characters, places, actions, problems, and emotions. That is why you may forget 10 random words, but remember a story from childhood. The story gave your brain a path to follow. Let's say you want to remember 5 words: book, river, teacher, apple, and window. If you repeat them like a robot, you may forget them. But if you make a small story, they become stronger. Imagine a teacher sitting near a river. She opens a big English book. Suddenly an apple falls from the sky and breaks a small window beside her. It sounds strange, but that is why it works. Strange pictures wake up the brain. Funny pictures wake up the brain. Emotional pictures wake up the brain. Your brain remembers what feels different. You can also use the memory palace method. A memory palace means you place information inside a familiar location in your mind. It can be your bedroom, your kitchen, your school, your street, or your favorite place. You already know this place well, so you use it as a mental home for new words. For example, imagine your bed.
Or your mess on your bed, place the word rest.
On your chair, place the word practice. On your table, place the word notebook. Near your door, place the word confident. Near your window, place the word future. Now close your eyes and walk through the room in your mind: bed, chair, table, door, window. As you move, the words come back. This works because your brain remembers places very well. This method is especially useful for English vocabulary, speeches, presentations, stories, and lesson summaries. If you read a story, you can put the main events in different places in your room. If you learn 5 new expressions, put each expression on a different object. If you read 1 page, put the 3 main ideas in 3 familiar locations. Now your memory is not floating in the air, it has a place. But remember, pictures alone are not enough. The picture should connect with meaning. This is called associative memory. Associative memory means your brain remembers better when one thing is linked with another thing. Link the word with a picture. Link the picture with a feeling. Link the feeling with your life. Link your life with a sentence. For example, the word confidence can connect with your picture of speaking English, your feeling of courage, your personal sentence, and your daily practice. Now the word has many hooks. The more hooks a word has, the harder it is to lose. So today, I want you to do a simple exercise. Choose 5 English words from anything you read. For each word, create 1 picture in your mind. Then, create 1 small story. Then make 1 personal sentence. If the word is journey, say, "My English journey is slow, but I am still moving." If the word is confidence, say, "I build confidence when I speak even with mistakes." If the word is struggle, say, "My struggle is not the end of my English. It is part of my growth." If the word is improve, say, "I improve when I practice a little every day." After that, close your eyes and try to see all 5 words like scenes in a movie. Remember this lesson deeply. When a word has no picture, it is dry. When a word has a picture, a story, a place, and a feeling, it becomes alive. Do not read English like dead text. Read it like a movie. See the meaning. Feel the sentence. Build a small scene. Put the word somewhere in your mind. Connect it with your life. Because when you can see English, you can remember English. And when you can remember English, you can finally start using it with more confidence, more fluency, and more power. Lesson 5. Recall before review. Now we are entering one of the most important lessons in this whole video. If Lesson 1 showed you why reading disappears, and Lesson 2 showed you why attention matters, and Lesson 3 and 4 showed you how meaning and pictures make memory stronger, this lesson will teach you how to lock that memory inside your brain. And the method is simple, but many learners avoid it because it feels uncomfortable. The method is recall. Do not only read English, recall English. Do not only put words into your brain, pull words out of your brain. Do not only look at the sentence and say, "I understand." Close the book and ask, "Can I bring this sentence back? Can I explain this idea? Can I speak about this without looking?" This is where real memory begins. Most English learners spend too much time in input mode. They read books, they watch videos, they listen to podcasts, they copy notes, they save vocabulary lists. All of these things can help, but they are only one side of learning. Input gives you English, but output proves that English is yours. If you only take English in, it may stay passive. It may stay quiet inside your brain. But when you speak, write, explain, answer, and teach, English starts becoming active. It starts becoming part of your thinking. It starts becoming part of your voice. This is why many learners understand English very well. But when they try to speak, their mind becomes empty. They have practiced input, but they have not trained output. This is where active recall becomes powerful. Active recall means trying to remember something without looking. After reading one paragraph, you close the book and ask, "What did I just read?" After learning 5 words, you hide the list and ask, "Which words can I remember?" After watching a lesson, you stop the video and ask, "What were the main ideas?" This may feel harder than rereading. But that difficulty is not bad. That difficulty is the training. When you try to remember, your brain works. When your brain works, the memory becomes stronger. Easy reading makes you comfortable, but active recall makes you capable. In learning science, this is called retrieval practice. Retrieval means bringing information back from memory. Practice means doing it again and again. So retrieval practice means you train your brain by pulling information out. Think of your memory like a path in a field. If you walk on that path once, it may disappear. But if you walk on it again and again, the path becomes clearer. Every time you recall a word, an idea, or a sentence, you walk that memory path again. The path becomes stronger. Later, when you need that word in conversation, your brain can find it more easily. There is another powerful idea called the testing effect. Many learners think a test is only something that happens in school. They think a test is there to judge them. But in memory science, testing is also a learning tool. When you test yourself, you are not only checking memory, you are building memory. For example, if you read a paragraph 3 times, you may feel familiar with it. But if you read it once, close the book, and try to explain it, your brain works harder. That hard work helps the memory stay. So from today, do not fear small tests. Create your own small tests. Ask yourself questions. Hide the answer. Speak without looking. Write without checking. This is not punishment. This is practice. Another important idea is the generation effect. This means you remember better when you generate the answer yourself. When you only read someone else's sentence, your brain is receiving. But when you create your own sentence, your brain is building. For example, if you read the sentence, reading improves memory when you explain what you learn. That is useful. But now, create your own sentence. I remember English better when I explain one paragraph in my own words. This sentence is stronger for your brain because you generated it. You made it. You built it. And what you build yourself often stays longer than what you only borrow from others. Now let's talk about desirable difficulty. This term is very important for your confidence. Desirable difficulty means the right kind of struggle that helps you learn. When you close the book and try to remember, you may feel stuck. You may forget one idea. You may speak slowly. You may make grammar mistakes. You may feel, "Oh, I do not know anything." But wait. Do not run away from that feeling. That struggle is not proof that you are weak. It is proof that your brain is training. If recall is too easy, maybe you are not growing much. If it is impossible, maybe the material is too hard. But if it is a little difficult, and you can slowly bring the idea back, that is the perfect zone. That is where memory becomes stronger. Now I want to give you the active recall method in a simple way. Read one small paragraph. Do not read 10 pages. Read one paragraph with attention, then close the book. Look away. Ask yourself, what was the main idea? Say it in simple English. Then ask, what are two useful words from this paragraph? Say them. Then ask, can I make one sentence with one of these words? Speak it. After that, open the book and check. What did you remember? What did you forget? What did you misunderstand? This is how strong learners study. They do not just read and hope. They read, recall, check, and correct. The speak it out method is especially powerful for English learners. After reading, speak out loud for 1 minute. You can use simple sentence frames. Say, today I read about a pig. Then say, the main idea was. Then say, one useful word was. Then say, this idea connects with my life because, and Saj. Then say, I can use this in English like this. Do not worry if your English is not perfect. The purpose is not perfection. The purpose is activation. You are waking up the English inside your brain. You are teaching your mouth to use what your eyes just read. And if you have nobody to practice with, use the teach the wall method. Yes, teach the wall. Teach your mirror. Teach your phone camera. Teach an empty chair. This may sound funny, but it is powerful. When you teach, your brain must organize the information. You cannot teach a messy idea clearly. Teaching forces you to simplify. It forces you to find the main point. It forces you to notice gaps. You may start explaining and suddenly stop because you do not remember the second idea. Good. That gap is not your enemy. That gap is your teacher. It shows you exactly what you need to review. Writing from memory is another honest method. Speaking is fast, and sometimes your mouth can hide gaps with extra words. But writing is slower. Writing shows the truth. Take a blank page, close the book, write 5 sentences about what you read. Do not copy. Do not look. Write from memory. Then open the book and compare. Maybe you missed one idea. Maybe your sentence was not clear. Maybe you remembered the example, but forgot the main point. That is useful information. Now you know what to fix. This is how writing becomes a mirror for your memory. Your notebook should not be a place where you copy long paragraphs like a machine. Your notebook should be a place where you think. Do not fill it with dead notes. Fill it with living notes. Write the main idea in your own words. Now. Write one useful word. Write a simple meaning. Write your own sentence. Write one personal example. Write one question. Write the date when you will review it again. This kind of notebook is not just beautiful, it is useful. It trains your brain to select, understand, recall, and use. There is a beautiful old wisdom that says, knowledge is like a hunted bird, and writing is the cage that keeps it. Think about that deeply. When you read, knowledge may come close to you, like a bird. You may see it. You may feel happy. You may think, I caught it. But if you do not write it, explain it, and use it, it can fly away. Writing is how you catch the idea. Writing in your own words is how you make it stay. And using it in your life is how you make it yours. So when you read English, do not let every useful sentence fly away. Catch it, write it, speak it, review it. Now here is your 5-minute recall drill. Use it today. First minute, read one short paragraph with full attention. Second minute, close the book and think about the main idea. Third minute, speak the idea out loud in simple English. Fourth minute, write 3 to 5 sentences from memory. Fifth minute, open the book and check what you missed. This small practice can change your reading life. It teaches your brain that reading is not the end. Reading is the beginning. The real learning starts when you close the book and bring the English back. Remember this lesson with confidence. Rereading feels easy, but recall builds power. Copying feels safe, but writing from memory builds honesty. Watching videos feels comfortable, but speaking out loud builds fluency. If you want to remember what you read in English, do not only collect English, produce English. Do not only receive words, generate words. Do not only understand sentences, use sentences. Because the English you recall becomes stronger. The English you speak becomes more natural. And the English you write in your own words becomes part of your mind. From today, after every reading session, ask yourself one powerful question. Can I bring this back without looking? If the answer is yes, your memory is growing. If the answer is no, do not feel bad. You have found the exact place where your learning must begin. Lesson 6. Review makes it last. Now you have learned how to read with attention, how to give meaning to words, how to create pictures in your mind, and how to pull information out through recall. But there is still one big problem. Even if you understand something today, even if you explain it today, even if you write it today, your brain can still slowly lose it if you never return to it. This is why review is not optional. Review is not something weak learners do because they forget. Review is something smart learners do because they understand how memory works. If you want English to stay in your mind for a long time, you must meet it again and again before it fades away. Think about a plant. If you plant a seed and water it only once, you cannot expect it to become a strong tree. The seed needs water again. It needs sunlight again. It needs care again. Your memory is the same. One reading is like planting the seed. Active recall is like pressing the seed into the soil. But review is the water. Without review, the idea may dry up. With review, the idea grows roots. It becomes stronger. It becomes part of your long-term memory. This is the main message of this lesson. Memory becomes strong when you return to the same idea at the right time. This method is called spaced repetition. Spaced repetition means you do not review everything again and again on the same day, like a tired machine. You review at planned gaps. You learn today. Then you come back tomorrow. Then after a few days. Then after 1 week. Then after a month. Every time you return, your brain says, this information is still important. And because your brain sees it again at the right time, it starts protecting it more strongly. This is connected to the spacing effect. The spacing effect means learning becomes stronger when practice is spread over time, instead of squeezed into one long session. In simple words, 1 hour today and 1 hour after 3 days is usually better than 2 hours of cramming tonight and forgetting tomorrow. Many English learners do the opposite. They read one lesson today, then run to the next lesson, then the next video, then the next book, then the next list of words. They keep adding new English, but they do not return to the English they already learned. This creates a painful feeling. They study a lot, but they still feel empty. They know they have seen many words before, but they cannot use them. They remember the face of the word, but not the meaning. They remember the lesson title, but not the lesson. This happens because learning needs consolidation. Consolidation means the brain slowly strengthens and organizes memory after learning. It is like saving and arranging files inside your mind. But if you never return, never recall, and never sleep properly, consolidation becomes weak. The easiest review rule is the 24-hour review trick. If you read something today, meet it again tomorrow. Do not wait for 1 month. Do not wait until you forget everything. Come back within 24 hours and ask yourself, what did I read yesterday? Do not open the book immediately. First, recall. Try to remember the main idea. Try to remember one useful word. Try to remember one sentence. Try to explain the idea in your own English. After that, open the book and check. This is very important. Review should not start with rereading. Review should start with recall. First, pull the memory out. Then check the page. This makes your memory stronger. Here is a simple review schedule you can use. After reading, pause and explain the idea immediately. After 20 minutes, do a quick recall. Ask yourself, what was the main point? After 24 hours, speak or write a short summary. After 3 days, make your own examples with the words or ideas. After 7 days, teach the lesson to your wall, mirror, phone camera, or friend. After 30 days, do one final review and see how much stayed. This schedule is simple, but powerful. It tells your brain again and again, this English matters. Keep it. But I know what you may be thinking. You may say, review sounds boring. I do not want to repeat the same lesson again and again. And you are right. Boring repetition can kill motivation. That is why you need repetition without boredom. Do not repeat the same way every time. Repeat the same idea in different forms. The first time, read it. The second time, explain it. The third time, write it. The fourth time, speak it. The fifth time, teach it. The sixth time, use it in a sentence. The seventh time, record your voice and listen to yourself. Same idea, different practice. This keeps your brain awake. It also trains different English skills at the same time. For example, imagine you learned the sentence, small daily practice creates long-term progress. On the first day, you read it and understand it. After 20 minutes, you say it from memory. Tomorrow, you explain it. This means I should practice English a little every day. After 3 days, you make your own sentence. My small daily reading habit will improve my English. After 1 week, you teach the idea to your mirror. After 1 month, you use it in a comment or diary. Now this sentence is no longer just a sentence from a page. It has become part of your thinking. Another powerful method is chunking. Chunking means grouping small pieces of information into meaningful groups. Your brain does not like too many separate pieces. If you try to remember 20 random words, you may feel stressed. But if you group them, memory becomes easier. For example, put feeling words together: nervous, confident, happy, afraid. Put action words together: read, speak, write, review. Put learning words together: memory, focus, practice, progress. Now your brain does not see 20 separate words. It sees groups. Groups are easier to hold. You can also use chunking when you read. 1 paragraph should become 1 main idea. 1 page should become 3 main points. 1 chapter should become 1 simple lesson. 1 video should become 1 useful routine. This is very important for English learners, because many learners try to remember every sentence. Do not do that. You do not need to carry the whole page word by word. You need to carry the heart of the page. Ask yourself, what is the main idea? Then make it small, make it clear, make it yours. Now let's talk about interleaving. Interleaving means mixing different types of practice instead of doing only one thing again and again. If you only read, your reading may improve, but speaking may stay weak. If you only listen, understanding may improve, but writing may stay weak. So mix your practice. Read 1 paragraph, then speak about it. Learn 1 word, then write a sentence. Watch 1 short lesson, then explain it. Study 1 grammar point, then use it in your own example. This kind of mixed practice helps your brain learn English in real situations, because real English is not separate. In real life, you listen, think, speak, read, and respond together. Overlearning is another useful idea. Overlearning means you do not stop the moment you understand something once. You practice it a little more until it becomes smoother. For example, if you learn a sentence and you can say it once, say it again 3 times. Say it slowly, say it naturally, say it with emotion. Use it in another sentence. This extra practice helps the sentence become more automatic. Automaticity means you can use English with less effort. You do not have to fight for every word. The sentence starts coming more naturally because you have met it many times. Sleep also plays an important role in memory. This is called sleep-dependent memory consolidation. It means sleep helps your brain strengthen and organize memories. Sleep does not magically put English into your brain if you never study. But if you read, understand, recall, speak, and review, good sleep helps your brain protect that learning. This is why studying all night with stress is not always smart. A tired brain may read many pages, but remember very little. Before sleep, you can review 3 useful sentences, speak 1 small summary, and think about 1 idea you learned. Then sleep well. In the morning, try to recall it. You may be surprised that the idea feels clearer. So here is your practical exercise for this lesson. Choose 1 short English paragraph today. Read it with attention. Close the book and explain it. After 20 minutes, recall the main idea. Tomorrow, write 3 sentences about it from memory. After 3 days, choose 2 words from it and make your own examples. After 7 days, teach the paragraph to your mirror or phone camera. After 30 days, come back and test yourself again. This is how you turn reading into long-term retention. Not by reading more and more without return, but by returning to what matters. Remember this lesson clearly. The secret is not reading more every day and forgetting more every week. The secret is returning to important English before your brain lets it go. Review does not mean you are weak. Review means you are wise. Spaced repetition protects your memory. Chunking makes information easier. Interleaving makes your English flexible. Overlearning makes your sentences smoother. Sleep helps your brain organize what you learned. From today, do not let useful English disappear after 1 day. Meet it again, speak it again, write it again, use it again, because the English you review becomes the English you remember, and the English you remember becomes the English you can finally use. Lesson 7. Use English today. Now we have reached the final lesson, and this lesson is the bridge between reading English and living English. Until now, you have learned why reading disappears, why attention matters, why meaning beats memorizing, why pictures create memory, why recall is stronger than rereading, and why review makes English stay longer. But there is still one final secret. If you want to remember what you read in English, you must use it. Not next year, not when your English becomes perfect, not when you feel completely ready. You must use it today. Because English that you only read stays on the page, but English that you use becomes part of your voice. Many learners collect English like they are collecting beautiful stones. They save new words. They write grammar rules. They watch videos. They read stories. They make notes. But when it is time to speak, they feel empty. Why? Because the English stayed passive. It was stored, but it was not activated. It was understood, but it was not used. It was seen, but it was not spoken. This is why use is so important. The final goal is not to remember English only inside your head. The final goal is to bring English into your life, your speech, your diary, your thoughts, your comments, your conversations, and your daily routine. This is called transfer of learning. It means you take something you learned in one place and use it in another place. For example, you read the sentence, "Small daily practice creates long-term progress." If you only read it, it may disappear. But if you use it in your own life and say, "My small daily English practice will create long-term progress," now the sentence has moved from the book into your real world. That is transfer. You transfer the idea from reading to speaking. You transfer the sentence from the page to your voice. This is where English becomes alive. This is also contextual learning. A word becomes stronger when it has a context. If you learn the word confident alone, it may feel weak. But if you connect it with a real situation, it becomes stronger. Say, "I want to feel confident when I speak English in front of people." Now the word has a place. It has a moment. It has a feeling. It has a purpose. Your brain remembers words better when they are not floating alone. Words need a home, and the best home for English words is your real life. This is why personalization is so powerful. Do not only copy the writer's examples, make your own examples. If you read the word remember, do not only write, I remember the story. Write something that belongs to you. I remember English better when I explain it in my own words. If you read the word struggle, do not only write, life is a struggle. Write, my English struggle is not the end of my journey, it is part of my growth. When you make English personal, your brain pays attention. This is connected to the self-reference effect. It means your brain remembers information better when it connects with you, your identity, your feelings, and your story. Now I want to give you a simple rule. I call it the Use It Today rule. Every time you read English, take one thing and use it today. Not 10 things, not 50 words. Just one useful word, one strong sentence, one beautiful expression, or one important idea. Use it in a sentence. Use it in your diary. Use it in a YouTube comment. Use it while talking to yourself. Use it while recording your voice. Use it while explaining your day. If you read the word improve, say, I improve when I practice every day. If you read the word consistent, say, I want to be consistent with my English. If you read the sentence, do not wait to be perfect, say, I will not wait to be perfect before I speak English. This is how reading becomes speaking. And please understand this. You do not need perfect grammar to start using English. Many learners wait too long because they think, first I will become perfect, then I will speak. But fluency does not work like that. You speak to become better. You write to become better. You explain to become better. This is output fluency. Output fluency means your ability to produce English becomes smoother because you practice producing it. The more you speak from what you read, the easier it becomes to speak next time. At first, your sentences may come slowly. That is normal. Later, after repetition and use, English starts coming more naturally. This is automaticity. Automaticity means you do not have to fight for every word. Some sentences begin to come by themselves because you have used them many times. Another powerful habit is connecting new English with old knowledge. Every time you learn a new word or idea, ask yourself, what does this remind me of? Where have I seen this before? Can I connect this with a story, a memory, a person, or a problem in my life? For example, if you learn the word discipline, connect it with waking up early, studying daily, keeping promises, or practicing English even when you are tired. Then make a sentence. Discipline means doing my English practice even when I do not feel motivated. Now the word has roots. It is connected to your old knowledge, your life, and your future goal. Teaching someone else is another beautiful way to use what you read. When you teach, your brain organizes the idea. You find the main point. You simplify the language. You notice what you know and what you do not know. If you have a friend, teach your friend. If you have a child, teach the child. If you have no one, teach your wall, your mirror, or your phone camera. Say, today I learned that memory becomes stronger when I use English. Then explain it in simple words. Do not worry about mistakes. Mistakes are not the enemy. Mistakes show your next practice point. A learner who speaks with mistakes is still moving. A learner who waits for perfection may stay silent for years. Now, let me give you the final memory routine of this whole video. This is the routine you can use every time you read English. Read, pause, explain, picture, write, use, review. First, read a small part with full attention. Do not rush. Second, pause for 3 seconds and ask, "What did this mean?" Third, explain the idea in simple English. Fourth, picture it in your mind like a small movie. Fifth, write one sentence in your own words. Sixth, use one word or idea today in speaking or writing. Seventh, review it tomorrow, after 3 days, and after 1 week. This routine is simple, but it is powerful because it trains your attention, meaning, memory, speaking, writing, imagination, and review together. If you follow this routine, your reading will change. You will not read 10 pages and forget everything. You may read 1 page and keep 5 powerful ideas. You may learn 1 word and use it for life. You may read 1 story and retell it in your own English. You may watch 1 lesson and turn it into speaking practice. This is how real learning works. You do not need to become a genius. You need a system. You do not need to attack English with fear. You need to meet English every day with attention, meaning, recall, review, and use. This is also how habit formation begins. Do not try to change your whole life in 1 day. Start small. After every reading session, use 1 English sentence. That is all. 1 sentence today, 1 sentence tomorrow, 1 sentence the next day. Slowly, your brain will expect it. Slowly, your mouth will become ready. Slowly, English will become part of your daily life. And one day, you will realize that the words you used to forget are now coming back when you need them. So from today, stop saying, "I forget everything." Say, "I am learning how to remember." Stop saying, "My English is weak." Say, "My English needs a better system." Stop saying, "I cannot speak." Say, "I am building my voice 1 sentence at a time." You have learned the system now. Read with attention. Understand with meaning. Remember with pictures. Strengthen with recall. Protect with review. Own it by using it. This is how you remember what you read in English. This is how reading becomes memory. This is how memory becomes speaking. And this is how English slowly becomes part of you. If this video helped you, subscribe to Bookish English, because here, we do not only learn English, we build memory, confidence, speaking power, and a better life with English. Now tell me in the comments, what is 1 English word or sentence you will use today? Write it below, because the moment you use English, you start making it yours. Thanks for watching this video.